Looking to Make a Difference with Gail. Tonight's a very special night. It's my holiday show, and the theme of the show is all about miracles. If you encountered a miracle, would you even know if you did? Miracles can be large and they can be small. Some people think it comes from divine intervention, while others aren't really sure. But I do know one thing: everybody benefits greatly from them. When I had cancer 40 years ago, there were people who said it's a miracle that you survived, given less than 30% chance of survival. But to me, that wasn't the greatest miracle of all. The greatest miracle of all is meeting people who inspire me, who give back to the community. Now, that's a miracle. My first guest, I am so thrilled to introduce. I have Melissa here, Melissa Blomberg, Doktofsky.
Doktofsky.
I had to say that correctly.
I had to learn it too.
Melissa,
about 25 years ago.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, I just want to
great.
say thank you so much. You and what you do is a miracle in of itself.
Oh, that's so sweet. And it's not just me, it's the community. It's all of Long Island. You know, I may have come up with the idea, but the most incredible people that exist on Long Island have managed to find us and fall in our laps and help us to be able to bring joy, bring brand new toys, bring
well, let me give
clothes,
a little bit of background
amazing
for this.
things to this charity.
Before you address all the different facets of your organization,
it's amazing.
Let me give a little bit about you as well. First of all, it's a 501c3.
Of course,
it's been 20 years that you're doing this tirelessly.
Yes.
I know that you have won statewide awards, Martin Luther King. That had to be surreal to win that kind of award.
That was very, very, very special.
You have no paid volunteers.
Not a one.
You have a board.
None of us.
Everybody does it on their own, and they do it out of a love for a community.
Yeah, everyone works for free. It's really incredible, and that was my concept 20 years ago. I said the only way that I'll create a charity is if everyone works for free. 100% of every dollar will go back to the people and the programs and the children, and that was the only way that I would do it. And who would think 20 years later, here we are.
Well, let's go back a little bit too. I'm always very curious about people who are so giving, what their inspiration is. Who inspired you as a child? Where does this come from?
Oh my God, this is all my family. This is my parents. I had parents that, the most giving parents, the most loving, the most affectionate parents, that from the time I was little, 2, 3 years old, said, you can do anything you want in this world. We love you. We'll support you. You know, dream big. I heard those things when I was little, when I was a toddler. And it really just, it manifested, you know, when I was 5 years old. And I came home one day and I had given away my winter coat that my parents had bought for me. They had bought me this beautiful white fur coat, and I gave it away. And you know, my parents, you'd think that they would have yelled at me and said, "What are you doing? This is a beautiful birthday coat that we bought for you. It was real fur. It was a so cute thing." And I gave it to a little girl without a coat. And they didn't reprimand me. They had to talk with my older brothers and said, like, well, what do we do?
So you see, it actually comes from childhood.
It felt like the right thing to do.
Oh, it's
and
beautiful.
From that point on, even when little kids would come play, and I had the Barbie they didn't have, I'd say, it's okay, take mine, and you know.
So look at the influence that parents, and I know teachers, we're going to talk about the inspiration of teachers later on in the show, but look how much that they can give to you to give to others. And when I see you, you know, the word miracle, it is also from the Old English, from the Latin, and yes, it means something unusual, something startling, but it also has the word milios in it, which is smile. And your smile is coming from within.
I'm a happy person.
Exactly right.
I'm a happy person. I'm living my dreams. 20 years ago, I didn't imagine that it would, you know, grow to this grand scale of
Well, let's talk about how it's growing. You take care of 65,000 people a year. We're talking about Adopt a Family. We're talking about food banks, Thanksgiving. I couldn't even reach you over Thanksgiving. I tried. Where was Melissa?
I was living in my truck.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Just delivering. We work around the clock. Listen, for the holiday season especially, because it is such a large amount of people that we do service, our holiday deliveries start in September. There is no way that we could reach over 65,000 people in a month.
Right.
It's not just like that one little holiday party and like you give out the toy and it's over.
And it's over.
No,
with,
we
right?
get in our trucks and we have brand new clothes. We have household items for people that finally can move in houses. For people in shelters, we just have brand new underwear and clothes and the toys and things like that. And we always have food in our truck. That's something new we started about 6 years ago. There's always food and there's always animal food.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about some of the different factions.
It's really...
But I know that you look fabulous, but I know you're exhausted.
That's so sweet.
You work endlessly. You don't stop. Where's Melissa? She's not home yet. She had no sleep. But
don't show me a mirror. I pulled an all-nighter.
You know what? You look beautiful, and you really do.
Very sweet.
We had an event recently at Hanu Restaurant in Huntington.
Yes, that was really, really spectacular. That's set up by Jim and you.
Jim Savali from the Village Connection.
He's a really spectacular person. His magazine is top-notch. And just that he thought of us. He said, you know what, I want to keep it local. I want to work with a charity where the toys are going to go straight to our neighborhood kids.
Right, right.
That any money collected that's used, 100% of it is used to help the families in need.
Well, we had about 500 people attend.
The turnout was incredible.
A lot of gifts,
the
a lot
amount
of
of hugs, the love that we get from Long Island. This charity feels so blessed just for all the support that we get. We get so much support. We get so many beautiful letters.
Well, Jim, by the way, I wanted to share with you. I have to give a shout out to Jim because
he's amazing.
He was supposed to appear today.
I'm so disappointed.
He pulled a back muscle, and because of that, wasn't able to. He's so involved. He wanted me to inform everybody that in addition to all of his magazines, and I do write for the Village Connection. You're going to be in one of them in a couple of months.
Thank you,
This
honey.
particular one I have Santa Claus, whom I interviewed, is going to be on the show.
Who doesn't love Santa?
Right. But Jim wanted to let everybody know that he also has the TV connection coming out, thevillageconnection.com,
I
which is happening in January.
Everybody's buzzing about that.
It's so exciting. We're going to be able to help so many more people.
Jim is really making things happen. He is just
incredible.
Really, he's just like
all right, back to you. Okay, let's talk about some of the different factions that you have with Toys of Hope. Adopt a family.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what? The bottom line is, listen, I named it Toys of Hope because 20 years ago, I thought needy and homeless kids only needed toys.
Right.
I really didn't realize in my early 20s, what did I know? But as time went on and I went to homeless shelters and soup kitchens and various other locations and Section 8 housing, I saw they were cooking on hot plates. I saw they didn't have new clothes. I saw kids didn't have sneakers. And I couldn't help myself. I just kept adding program after program, anything that can really enhance the family, can raise their self-esteem, make them feel loved by their community.
And feel more independent again.
Independent, but also I wanted to give our community an opportunity to be part of it. It's really an opportunity. When you partner up with Toys of Hope, you have an opportunity to impact a family, each family at a time. You can give a financial donation, but you can also call me and say, you know what, I want to buy a microwave for a family that's never had a microwave.
I love that.
You can do anything. It's just
well,
really
before we give the
hands-on.
website, I'm going to read a few of them. We have Chance to Dance, Children for Change, Dental, Literacy.
Children for Change is special. Listen, the children are everything.
That's right.
And the fact that children at a young age, and I have children start with me as young as 4, and they partner up with the charity. I have a junior board of directors, which is really exciting.
I love that.
They make executive decisions. We sit at a board table, and they make major decisions for the charity. And Children for Change came out of that particular format, and that's kids collecting change all over Long Island. But not only that, they get to decide how the money gets spent. And that's powerful. The power is put in their hands to really look at the full picture and to see what they can do to make a difference. And I love it. Sometimes they give to our pet program. Sometimes they just want to help a child. Sometimes it's the whole family. It personally, it
warms your heart.
It chokes me up.
And it does choke you up.
It chokes me up. I love every one of these kids.
Where can people reach you?
They can reach us toysofhope.org. Any time of the day,
right? And Facebook.
Day and night. I'm under my personal name on Facebook, Melissa Blomberg Doktofsky. We had a few people open pages to be kind under Toys of Hope, but they weren't me. So
okay, so we have to be careful. Now we know.
We can just go straight to Melissa Blomberg Doktofsky, and you will see non-stop flow of all the giving. And you'll see at night, we're out in our trucks day and night, and we're out on street corners handing stuff to people.
I don't know what else to say except thank you so much. You are amazing. And
thank you for giving me the opportunity to share, and come join us. Be part of this miracle.
We absolutely will.
This is a charity that 100% of every dollar and everything given goes back to those in need.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, love.
Thank you. My next guest is beautiful inside and out. And she's actually the face of one of the faces of Raw Beauty. And we're talking about Emily Sciarretta. And I'm looking over because in addition, we have her dog, Carmel. Emily, welcome to Looking to Make a Difference with Gail.
Thank you so much, Gail. What an honor.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure to have you here. Look at Carmel. Now, you actually embroidered the outfit for Carmel.
Yes, I did all the rhinestones. 2 days.
Carmel is 6 years old, and he is your dog. He's been your companion.
She has, yes.
She has been for a number of years. Yes. I want to talk about the Raw Beauty to start with.
Sure.
Raw Beauty was designed, and they selected 20 different women, and you were one of the beautiful faces for this. And it was a photography exhibit,
yes.
And I saw a picture of you on a bridge, and basically to overcome disabilities and to show the beauty in women and what they can do. So tell me a little bit more about it and what it meant to you.
It was an amazing opportunity, an amazing experience, because people think that when you're in a wheelchair, you're not beautiful, you're not capable of finding relationships or being happy. People feel that because you're in a wheelchair, you're depressed and you're just sitting in your room all day long. And that's really not the case. Well, this is what gets us around, but we're still active human beings who want to enjoy life. So when they asked me to be one of the models, I was extremely honored, and it was a real privilege. And I worked with an amazing photographer, Sandra, and she decided we should do something on a Brooklyn bridge, and I wanted to sing, and I wanted to have Carmel with me. So she put up that beautiful, we sat behind the Brooklyn Bridge and she took the pictures. And now what's amazing about the Raw Beauty exhibit is that it is going across the country for people who are newly injured across the country will be able to read our bios and see the pictures, and prayerfully it will give them the opportunity and the desire to keep going and moving forward.
What I loved what you said too, and I don't know if you recall this, but we were talking and you said, sometimes people will stare at me.
Yes.
And today, my guests who were here apologized for staring at you. And the reason they were staring is because they were so taken with your beautiful face. And when I heard them say that, I just said, look at that. And then you said after doing the Raw Beauty, you felt beautiful.
Very much, yes. It actually changed a little bit about how I felt about myself. I would never ask to be a model before. And for them to ask me to do that when the modeling shoot was over, this can really change your perspective on who you are, and that, yes, you're in a wheelchair, but you can still be beautiful, and nothing should ever stop you from being who you are.
You're not defined by that at all. And
exactly.
I think that is so significant.
Exactly.
Now, you were born with, and let me see if I say it correctly, Chiari malformation
of the
brain.
Yes, it's Chiari malformation.
Of the brain. And tell us a little bit about what that means and an organization that somebody could reach out to if need be.
Sure. Chiari malformation is a brain injury. Once they actually have to do the brain surgery, it constitutes as a brain injury. So what happens is you have 4 tonsils in your body. 2 are in the top of your head, believe it or not, and 2 are here. What happened with me was that the tonsils protruded through the foramen magnum, which is a hole in the back of the brain, and it went into my lower spine, so cervical spine rather. So what they had to do is they went and they did the decompression surgery to put those tonsils back up into place.
Okay. So you have short-term memory?
Yes, and my long-term is very bad.
And sometimes you will have seizures?
Yes.
And then 8 years ago, I believe it was, you said that you had fallen and you are in a wheelchair since then. If I pronounce this correctly, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Yes, that's a connective tissue disease.
Connective tissue. And I think a lot of people don't realize that collagen is this connective tissue,
Exactly.
which is, from what I understand, a glue that keeps everything together.
Exactly.
So when you don't have that, you aren't able to use your limbs. And I just want to mention this very briefly, that you have had surgeries, 2 brain surgeries, you have a rare heart condition,
Yes.
all this, and one of the most beautiful and positive people that one could meet.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
a great voice. Would you do me the honor, a cappella, of Let It Snow?
Sure. Well, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, oh, I hate going out in the storm. But if you'd only hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm.
It's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
There's so many different gifts.
Thank you.
Now, in 1975 in California, Canine Companions for Independence was organized.
Yes.
And that's where our buddy comes from
Carmel,
over
sit.
here.
Good
I want
girl.
Carmel to be comfortable.
Good girl.
Carmel, this is your big moment.
It is.
But Carmel does so many different things for you.
She does.
So tell us a little bit about what she is capable of doing.
Sure.
And also the fact that you are a co-chairperson.
Oh yes, it's an amazing organization, Canine Companions for Independence. They changed my life. They changed my husband's life. Anybody who gets a service dog through this organization, their life just changes. But they come to us with 45 commands, and I taught her about another 15. So they learn and they are taught how to open doors and close them, I actually taught her to, I open up the mail and she takes it with her teeth and she'll open up the mail for me fully. She will do things that, she also comforts you when when I'm sad or when I'm in pain. She'll actually curl up next to me gently. She knows she'll hurt me if she doesn't. And she curls up next to me and she'll lick my face. So she does things that help me physically, but she also does things that help you emotionally.
You were also, with your husband, Frank,
Yes.
you were co-chair of a walk and roll.
Oh yes, Dog Fest.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful experience as well. It's one of the largest ways that we try to raise money because these dogs are very expensive. They're about $50,000 to train them. So we try every year doing numerous things trying to raise money for the organization. So we were asked to co-chair to help raise awareness and help raise funds, and we did a very successful day.
We're going to show a video right now because not only did you meet dog of your dreams, but you met the man of your dreams.
I did.
And you married him,
I did.
Frank, who has his dog, Bastion. Let's take a look at that video.
Sometimes you want to give up, but don't, because when you don't, you can find this.
2 people, 2 dogs, and a whole lot of puppy love. Emily Sciarretta has a laugh that's contagious and a smile that can light up a room. The 41-year-old also found the love of her life, 50-year-old Frank Sciarretta.
September 2011.
Yeah. And we went on our first date to an Italian restaurant, and we went to see
The 2
a
met through
dolphin
Canine
show.
Companions for Independence out of Medford, an organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing them with highly trained assistance dogs. Emily was diagnosed with Arnold-Chiari malformation. As a result, her short-term memory isn't all that great, and her long-term memory is virtually non-existent. And Frank was born with a debilitating disorder known as spina bifida, which left him paralyzed from the waist down.
Actually, I was in a nursing home, and a friend of mine came in and said, you have to find out about this CCI, Canine Companions for Independence organization. So I said, what's a CCI and what do I need to do? So I went online and learned all about them, and I knew in my soul that this is what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to get a service dog. I just knew it.
We have each other. We both share a lot of, the days, the things that are tough. The days that are tough are usually tough on both of us. It's the cold weather and the bad weather and things like that, and just the day-to-day activities of having to get through the day and things you have to do. We can share in those experiences together because we both, share in the same problems.
On days when the going gets tough, these pups make things much better. Meet Bastion and Carmel, two mixed-breed Labradors who are Frank and Emily's assistance dogs. Thanks to canine companions and the dogs themselves, life for Frank and Emily can be made a whole lot easier by doing simple tasks that are tough for the two of them. Bastion can open the door and refrigerator and even find Frank's sneakers.
Good boy, give. Come on. Good boy.
And Carmel can pick up dropped items.
Good girl. Good girl. Thank you.
Retrieve dog bowls and help Emily by opening her mail.
You could be having like the worst day in your life, just a hard day at work, and maybe the weather's terrible, and we'll just be sitting around just eating dinner one time, and they'll just start playing and just be the funniest two people, two dogs together in the world. It's just hysterical to watch them. You know,
they make you
that's
laugh.
the one thing. They
They
make you
really
laugh
make
all
you
the
laugh.
time.
Last fall, Emily and Frank got married. Carmel was the flower girl and sharing vows, kisses, and a honeymoon. They have learned to overcome obstacles together, even when at first being told no. Perseverance has given them the drive to find a better solution.
I'm on certain government programs, his income becomes mine, and they were saying it was a problem that I couldn't marry him without losing my benefits. I did lose one, but I didn't lose all of them.
And as for Bastion and Carmel, they're not always at work. Over the years, they too have learned to play together and have grown to love each other.
They're our fur kids, we call them.
And they keep us going. You know, it's not just about us anymore, it's about them. These dogs, really, they take you out of yourself. And that's why I tell people, you know, if you're a candidate for these dogs, not everybody is, but if you are, they really do, and they have so many studies about that also, that they make you happier. They just bring you out of yourself.
And what's the secret behind it? Frank and Emily say it's a simple one.
Concentrating on the positives in life,
Yes,
instead of the negatives. I think we're both trying to remind each other of that constantly.
yes.
I said that I'm going to get through the show without tears, but they're tears of joy and just celebrating the goodness and the beauty and the miracles that surround us.
Absolutely. Every day.
But I do have to ask you a couple more things. One, where people can reach the canine companions.
Sure. It's cci.org.
cci.org. I know that you have a tremendous faith.
Yes.
Do you want to just take a quick moment to express that?
Thank you, sure. God has gotten me through the worst times of my life. And without God, I wouldn't be here multiple times now, because he actually saved me from birth and saved me spiritually and has saved me physically through some nightmare situations where I wasn't supposed to make it, and he decided that I should. And for that, I'll always be grateful and honored. And it's a wonderful life, you know. I love the movie, but it's really the truth. No matter what you're going through, you can make it on the other side. Just hold on, you'll be okay.
So grateful that you are here. I'm going to ask you to take us out with a verse from Amazing Grace, if you'd be so kind.
Sure, thank you. One of my favorite hymns. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved someone like me. And I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my faith to fear, and faith my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed.
Thank you so much.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
What would the holidays be like without my very special guest? You could hear him already. We're talking about Santa Claus.
Morning, Gail. How are you?
Oh, I'm terrific, Santa, and thank you so much for taking time out of a incredibly busy season. In fact, I understand you have some 200 appearances, 6 you're averaging a day. I know you don't sleep. And you're amazing. What sleep? We'll all sleep after the holidays because you're so busy taking care of so many different people. We're going to talk about your charities shortly, but I want to go back a little bit. This whole thing came about 18 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And then for 5 years in a major department store, you were Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. And you have your name changed. You have documents proving exactly who you are. Hey, Mom calls you Santa.
Yes,
I had you up on my Facebook page, and my grandkids were writing you letters, and we don't argue with that. But Santa, I have to not only commend you on the happiness of the season, but I have to ask you, to you, what is the true meaning of Christmas?
The true meaning of Christmas. In my heart, the true meaning of Christmas is helping those who, A, are less fortunate, those who have so much on their minds that they cannot relax and enjoy the gift that God has given everybody.
I have to tell you, I love that. I know that you said to me once before, if I make somebody happy for just a few minutes, I can't take away all their worries, all their problems.
Exactly, but for that moment, they're a little
that.
child, they're happy again.
Well, let's take a look at what it's like in a very busy day of Santa Claus, shall we?
Sure. Man, am I thirsty. Oh. Oh.
Everybody say, Frosty. I'm trying to get away from cheese. When I first started to portray Santa, people would just look at me and smile. I realized that because of me, they were forgetting about, not forever, not, their problems didn't go away, but just for a moment. They forgot about their problems, and they smiled, and they became little kids again. And then I became a little kid because they smiled. It's very fulfilling. And there goes my phone again. Excuse me. Good afternoon, Santa speaking.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas. I almost got tongue. Say Frosty. Ow. Tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m., Seacliff Yacht Club, Trans Service Holiday Party, Roslyn, Natalie Sound Beach, Cold Spring Harbor Golf Club. That is going to be a packed day.
We were laughing in the background watching this, cannot believe it, falling asleep on the train. Unbelievable.
And a lot of times when they do theatrical stuff like that, that was all one day. That wasn't filmed over a couple of days.
Well, you brought me back to when my daughter was young and going to visit Santa Claus. Do you have any problems with the parents at all that you'd like to? Oh yes.
Okay, parents, listen. I don't mean to tell you what to do, but I've been doing this longer than you have. So quiet. listen, your job is to sit back and relax. Santa knows exactly what he's doing. Santa will ask your daughter or son, has he been a good boy, and what they want for Christmas. Your job is to take pictures and listen so that I could bring you back to your childhood as well. I want you to enjoy it as much as they do. So relax. I got this.
Thank you for that great piece of advice. Has the toy selection changed much over the years as to what kids are asking for?
Kids nowadays want everything electronic. And, you know, it's been a long-standing tradition up at the North Pole that we do not make electronics. If something happens, something goes wrong, the parents do not want to bring it back to the North Pole.
No, that's too long a ride.
It's pretty much an impossible trip, and I don't want them to know where it is anyway.
Right.
So we leave the electronics to the very capable electronics companies that are out there. And if something does go wrong, it's easily exchanged. You know, there's no... I make toys that mean something in your life.
Did you ever have a child not ask for a toy?
Lots of times I get that little girl or boy who says, you know, Santa, I really don't need anything.
Oh.
I want the war to stop. Or,
I love that. I love that.
I want the family to finally be at peace, you know, or I get the occasional, I want mommy back. You know, because when 9/11 happened,
yes, of
you know,
course,
a lot of kids lost their parents, and I was asked for, you know, mom and dad to come back.
I'm sure.
And, you know, I had to explain to them that there are certain things that Santa can't do.
Correct.
But if you think hard enough when you go to sleep, I promise they'll visit you in your dreams.
Oh, that's beautiful. Let's talk about your charities, because you are so involved in the Babylon Town Breast Cancer Coalition.
Breast Cancer Coalition, yes.
You helped out with the Superstorm Sandy. 27,000 meals in a few weekends for the first responders. Mrs. Steinbrenner recently, tell me about that.
I get an email from the Yankees Corporation, and they ask me how much it would charge to be Santa Claus for 5,000 underprivileged children.
Oh, my goodness.
And I outright said, look, I know you're a multi-million-dollar corporation, and I could probably ask for anything I want, so I'm going to ask for nothing. Wow. Because you're doing something so wonderful for these children that I want to be part of it.
Beautiful.
And they basically asked me what my favorite charity was, and I said it was the Babylon Breast Cancer Coalition. And they cut me a sizable check, and I presented it to them just Monday.
Unbelievable. That is amazing. You know, I have a clip right now where I'm going to show your involvement with one of your favorite charities.
Oh, cool.
All right, so we're going to take a look at that. This is St. Jude. It was taken on the Today Show. Let's take a look at that.
This morning we're wrapping up our series, Thanks and Giving, highlighting 50 years of the great work done at St. Jude Children's Hospital. Marlo Thomas has been with us all week. She's, of course, the National Outreach Director at St. Jude. Marlo, it's been so wonderful to have this all week, and I hope it's been great for you, too.
Oh, the stories are fabulous. The children are fabulous. This is a big day for us. This is the launch of our Thanks and Giving program. So when you go to all the wonderful stores across the country, you know, St. Jude is a national resource. So that's why we have this national program. As we like to say, our labs aren't in your cities or in your communities, but all of our discoveries are in your community.
And we've got a lot of those retailers scrolling across the screen.
Right.
You can go see them now. Now, kids, you brought some of your friends.
Yeah.
We have a very special treat, you guys.
You ready?
Okay. We have someone special visiting us today, and he wanted to say hello. Is that okay? Why don't you step right over there and say hello to someone?
Oh my gosh.
Everybody.
Isn't that
Do you
great?
recognize this guy? Who is it, Archie? Santa came. Santa's coming to town early. How cool is that?
Come here.
It's pretty cool.
So good to see you.
You want? Oh, you told me to look behind me? You saw? You're smart. Okay, go give him a hug then. You told me.
Come here.
Marlo, as we watch some of the children visit with Santa and get hugs from Santa, I loved hearing you say how so many parents have been watching this week and identified problems perhaps with their own children.
And getting information. In fact, little Archie here had been to 3 hospitals, misdiagnosed, and finally somebody said, why don't you go to St.
Get in there,
Jude?
Archie.
They found out that he had lymphoma.
Yeah.
That's what's so important, is to get the right diagnosis and get these children to St. Jude to get it. You know, we have, St. Jude costs $1.8 million a day to run. So this campaign means everything to us.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
we're not for profit,
Yeah.
we have to get 75% of our money from the public.
Right, and what better thing to do in our lives than to help
Right.
a child? And as you pointed out,
Yes.
the research labs may not be in your town, but the work you do
That's right.
affects us
Right.
all. And you know what? We can buy a lot of frivolous things in this world, but why not give it to
And
someone?
you know, you're all going to be
like this?
shopping anyway,
Yeah.
having a wonderful time. So
Yes.
just leave $1 or $2 for the children of St. Jude.
All right,
All
Marlo,
right.
we're so grateful for the work you did. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Thank you so much.
St. Jude's
Marlo.
Children's Hospital. Why don't everybody come in and say hello to Santa? Come on in.
Absolutely, guys.
Thank you, Marlo Thomas. Thank you,
Thank
kids.
you, Santa.
And thank you, Santa.
Oh my gosh, that was just beautiful, Santa.
Thank you.
Santa, I'm going to be bringing in an angel in a moment, and you know him as well because I know you've been in 3 different movies, Mick Foley. This particular movie so touched me, but then so does this man. I call him my angel. You know who I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about Noel, right?
I am talking about Noel Torres, who's incredible. You know, angels come in so many different shapes, sizes. And
Did you just call me fat?
Never. And I have to tell you that when you least expect it, somebody who believes in you gives you an opportunity. To me, that's an angel. And that's my Noel. So I'm now going to introduce Noel Torres, have a chat, and I want you to stick around because you're one of the stars in his movie, Christmas Tears. Would you
Wonderful.
do that?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Noel Torres, thank you so much for being here today. I want to give a little bit of your background, if I may. I know you started in the 1980s as far as in the film industry in Bensonhurst.
Yes.
Al Pacino, and then Carlito's Way.
Yes.
Correct? And then you also teamed up with another very, very inspirational man, Emilio Rosa, for
Yes.
the Familia.
Yes, from the Familia. We're working on the Familia. First of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, are you kidding? It's got to be a holiday show with Noel here. And Noel is also Lightning Star Entertainment presents Looking to Make a Difference with Gail.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for that opportunity. You have another movie coming out too, Conjurers?
Conjurers is a horror film that I hopefully should start later this summer.
But I want to talk about a movie that Santa Claus is also in, and that is Christmas Tears. Now, the movie has been at the Puerto Rican Film Festival, Tribeca, where I sat next to you, and I have to tell everybody, there was not a dry eye in the house. The characters are amazing. Let me first show a very quick trailer, and then we're going to get into that. Okay, Santa? Sure. Let's do it.
Favorite holiday. Bless everyone, especially my mom.
Thank you, baby. Let's eat.
You think you're helping them by giving them false hopes? Well, you're not, Ma.
I'm not giving them false hope.
Yes, you are, Mom.
Home's the last place I want to be right now.
With that pretty little wife of yours waiting for you?
I don't care if you don't get me a gift, but you damn well better get your daughter something.
You know, when this bottle is gone, we gotta go home and face the music.
Where'd you get that from?
Hey, yo, trouble, man. Is that loaded?
Let's do it.
has now become my favorite Christmas movie.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about it, and Santa, I want you to join in. You know, you have 3 characters, and I'm not going to give the ending, I'm not going to ruin it, but I do have to give some of the storyline.
Sure.
Because we have Travis, who's so angry, so hurt, tries to escape his problems, his mom's death. And then we have Vinny, who's married, who feels, as he said, like a loser because he's not providing for his wife, for his family, for his child, for Christmas toys. And of course we have Ricky, whose dad volunteered to go to Iraq. And Mom, played by your beautiful wife Sheena, so believes that he'll make it back, he'll be there. So we have these 3 factions in one individual, don't we, Noel?
Yeah, he's held hostage over there, so she has no idea. You know.
So we have the one facet of this person who is totally saying this will never happen.
Right.
We have another one who wants to believe and hope but doesn't quite know how to do it. And you have another one who's escaping his problems through alcohol, the very same thing that he wanted to stay away from. So let's take a look then at some of the themes before we bring Santa Claus into this. Desperate people sometimes do desperate things.
Especially for the holidays. And like I said, the reason I wrote this is to try to give people hope. And people feel so bad for the holidays, and it's like, no matter what, just have faith, have hope, believe in God. If you notice, the film has some religious overtones in it, quite a lot, with Santa Claus.
It does.
You know, and a lot of this has to do with my childhood when I grew up, being so excited about Santa Claus. I mean, I grew up, I would say, in a hood in a way, and we didn't even have a Christmas tree. We had a plant and we put up those big bulbs. And to me, that was the most beautiful thing in the world.
I wanted to mention that with materialism.
Yes.
We've gotten so far away, and Santa knows this, and he's talking about the electronic requests for gifts. But quite honestly, some of my fondest memories, we would get 1 or 2 toys, and then what we would do is decorate a tree. If I showed you what the tree looked like, it wasn't exactly what you'd see today, but it was fun. There was harmony in bringing. So when we talk about sometimes desperate people who are usually good people, try to do desperate things. Okay, so that's part of one of the themes. But another one certainly is about not giving up hope. You know, I lost my dad Christmas Eve, years ago. And while I was sitting next to you in this Tribeca Theater, I whispered that to you, and you just looked at me. Okay, so that was something that affected me by all means. But around the holidays, not everybody is always in that great jovial mood. Right. My suggestion, and it worked for me, is if that is the case, yes, you need a time to grieve, of course. Get out and do some volunteer work. Look at life through the eyes of a child. Right, Santa?
Yes. I mean, that's actually where I come in at Christmas, okay? Because first of all, if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for what Jesus did, there would be no reason for me to even be here. Right. But I take that second fiddle seat and I try and bring happiness to those who are depressed.
Absolutely. All right, so we don't have the right either to let somebody else give up hope. When Ricky is telling his mom, your wife who played
because she looks like she's losing her mind. To everybody else, she doesn't look like she's crazy. Right. When somebody has hope, people look at you sometimes and go, well, that person's got to be nuts. That's not going to happen. But this film shows that anything is possible in life.
As long as you don't lose your faith, and as long as you keep believing and keep going. I know when my husband gotten sick, we were at the top of the world at that time. Everything was so beautiful. And he sat me down and he said, look, Gail, we're up here right now, but that's how life is. We learn from experiences. Yes. As you get down below, he said, and I've tried to do this with my students who have sometimes been really, really despondent over tragedies. When you're at the bottom, what happens? Eventually, you're going to go back up again.
When you're at the bottom, you help each other to get back to the top.
Right. And
usually when you're at the top, there's not much room for everybody.
Correct.
So down at the bottom, there's a whole bunch of people, and you can help each other.
Exactly.
The problem is that a lot of people sometimes lose faith and hope, and and that's when the alcoholism comes in. That's where suicides come in.
They want to escape. Yeah. They run away.
Drugs.
We're going to show a little clip now with you, Santa, and we're going to talk a little bit about that when people try. This, by the way, is your favorite piece. So let's please take it's a very quick clip. Let's take a look at that.
I don't understand you guys. You and Vincent have been good all year. And now, tonight, Christmas Eve, you guys decide to be naughty?
Whoa. How do you know our names?
I know all my children's names, and you know mine as well. It's me.
Santa?
This actually, that scene and the one after about a homeless man inspired myself and someone else.
That touched me.
And I'm going to share it because that's what the goal is of an author, a poet, a writer, a screenwriter, is to want to get out there and touch somebody, as Santa always does. I had just gone in for an audition for Blue Bloods, and fingers crossed, it was a part. But even more importantly, the person who took me, wants to remain anonymous, dropped me off Babylon train station, said, I'll go get the car. And as he was walking, he met a man who was homeless, who had asked him for money. And he said what many of us do, no, and kept walking. When he went to pick me up, he was so upset. And when he looked at me, and I still get emotional when I think about it, you know, I said, what's wrong? And he said, a man asked me for money, and I just said, no. And I said, okay, we know what we're going to do. And we went looking for the man. We found him, rolled down the window, and the person yelled out, I'm sorry, I apologize, sir. And I gave him the money. And he said, I'm going to have a good meal. How emotional.
It is.
That did it for us. And that came from a scene, I look at your eyes, that came from a scene in the movie.
Yes, it is. It came from a scene. I can't believe. Well, actually, I could believe, because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I want people to be touched. I want people to pass it forward, you know. And when you told me that story, it really touched me, and I did have tears in my eyes.
Oh, he and I both cried, and I started to think about why is it we do this to people where we don't stop and understand. Why do we think someone who's homeless has to have a problem that he's responsible for, and maybe look more into it and find out what it is.
Why he's homeless.
Why
now,
he's
like
homeless.
I said in the film, not everybody that's homeless takes drugs or are alcoholics. There's reasons in life where they're like that.
Well, we have 3 children, I believe, coming in who are waiting patiently to give Santa their list. Oh, cool. Can we go bring them in?
Certainly.
Thank you. Santa, do you know that there is a book called Christmas Tears? And he's Miguel Torres, Noel Torres. He's got T-shirts. We want to make sure that everybody knows about that. And the event coming up on the 20th. Who do you have there?
These kids just popped up. And look, he's got an entire tray of homemade cookies for me. Wow.
Beautiful.
Now, I got to ask you guys a question really quickly. Did you guys make your lists and send them to me already?
Yeah.
You did. So I promise that when I get back to the North Pole tonight, okay, I promise I'm going to look at them and pick out some wonderful stuff for you guys. Since you're the oldest, could you do me a favor? Last year, I know I got to the house a little bit late, but, well, the plate of cookies was empty. Somebody had eaten them before I got there. Oh, do you think that's what it is? Could you put it maybe up on a higher table or
yeah, I will do that.
you know, because I'm losing weight drastically, and I really need those cookies.
I am so fortunate to have Peter Mio with me today. I met Peter a couple of years ago on a birthday. What a fabulous birthday it was. His voice and just making me feel so comfortable. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Peter. Peter, now, a little bit of your background, your singing background. You actually started in 5th grade.
I did.
In the Glee Club in Queens.
Yes, I did.
And then I understand that you did some musicals and a wedding singer at the age of 17. Really elegant places like Mims.
Yes.
That'd be exciting.
It was. It was very exciting. I look back at it now, and I only have good thoughts, and learned a lot about the business, and I'm still going strong in the business.
Oh, you're going very strong. You did works in Little Italy.
Correct.
And in addition to that, you're going to be where?
Next week, New Year's Eve, I'm going to be in Torres in Farmingdale. It is a place where I do a lot of work. And the best way to check where I'm at is basically my website, which is www.petermio.net. Gigs come in frequently and constantly updating my website.
You know what surprised me too, and your voice is just incredible, and I'm going to talk about the different types of music that you love doing and your influences, but you had studied for only 3 years?
A lot of people ask me, you know, if I did study. In my business, a person studies voice simply to build on a voice. You cannot study voice to learn how to sing.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
You're talking to somebody who's tone deaf but appreciates, for real, that's the truth. Now, your influences, I've read somewhere were Elvis, Barbara Streisand.
Yes.
Who else? You have Frank Sinatra, we cannot leave him out.
Yes, Sammy Davis Jr., I believe, was one of the most talented persons of the 20th century.
So you do doo-wop, you do American classic, and in fact, you do Italian. I heard that. But you're also in the process right now of taking a Spanish song that you have done. Tell me a little bit.
I had put out a song, a Selena cover, No Me Quiera Más. I had just written the words and I just put it out on SoundCloud. Wound up getting picked up in Mexico on a radio station, about 55,000 viewers. It went to number 5.
Not bad, Peter.
No, not bad, yeah.
Well, you know what? We're so eager to hear you sing. I know you're going to have yourself a very Merry Christmas, and I'm excited. So let's listen to you sing and
That's
see
wonderful,
why everybody else is going to be excited
Great.
too.
Thank you. Thank you, Gail.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away. Once again as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Someday soon we all will be together, if the fates allow. Until then we'll have to muddle through somehow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we'll all be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
I am so thrilled that Peter Mio was here with us today. He's going to close the show with Silent Night. And you know, Peter, I'd love to dedicate this to our people in the armed forces who are not going to be home for the holidays and let them know that we're thinking about them. What do you think?
I think that's a wonderful,
Well, we'll let you take it away with Silent Night. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Gail, for having me. Appreciate it very much.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep and heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Silent night,